Today's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to share just some things I really wish I knew at the beginning of motherhood. A little bit of what I'm learning right now, but some of this stuff I'm going to share today has come from mentors that I've spent time with, women who are further along the journey. And so I'm sending all of this your way to hopefully make your journey in motherhood sweeter, more enjoyable, a little easier sometimes, but just to reframe so much of what we go through in motherhood, to be raw and real and just share even what's going on with me that's a little bit hard right now with 6 kids. And I hope you walk away from this video feeling ultimately more empowered in your motherhood, feeling more normal, feeling like, okay, just because it's hard doesn't mean that it's bad. So I want to pause real quick, tell you my name is Lana. This is Girl Teach Me. This whole channel has been created to be, I hope, a blessing to you, an encouragement to you along the road of motherhood. I'm a mom of 6. I'm a homeschooling mom. And so I did not feel equipped for this journey of motherhood very well. I feel like I've had to figure out a lot of things the hard way. You might be like me in that, and you might need some help. And so I hope this channel can be a blessing to you. And I say it in almost all my videos, but if you are pregnant, I want to help you. I have had 6 natural births, and there are some things that I've learned along the way that I think can really be a help to you on your pregnancy birth journey. So go check out that free class down below after this video. So I think the number one thing I could sum up with motherhood lately, and it's one thing I heard, is that if we are a Christian, the number one thing the enemy can do to us, the only thing he can do to us, is try to discourage us. And I think in the journey of motherhood, it is very common to get discouraged in one way or another, especially when it comes to comparison. Looking to the left or to the right to measure ourselves as mothers is a very common thing to do. We're not really sure what success sometimes looks like because motherhood is a lot of sowing and sowing and sowing, and the reaping generally comes later. And so while we're sowing, we're looking at like, how's your seeds growing? How's your seeds growing? Or how's your house project coming? Or how do your kids behave compared to how do my kids behave? Like all the things. It's just a lot of comparison to try to figure out like, how am I doing? And also just this big question of like significance and worth. And if we're not getting thanked all the time for what we're doing, if people can't see what we're doing, does it even matter? It's a lot. I think, especially if you're a new mom, you're getting inundated by information. And so I really don't want to add to the noise. I just want to cut through it and be a help today for you. So if you feel discouraged, just know that more than likely that's coming from the enemy. But also sometimes I think we walk into discouragement. I think that we're not trying to be unwise all the time, but if we're going to places where discouragement often happens, we have to ask ourselves why we keep doing that. Is it perhaps like a self-sabotaging thing? I know for me, if I scroll social media at all and I'm not being very specific about what I'm looking for, if I get kind of like caught up in that vortex that just can happen to us all if we're being real, especially when we're tired and we lack willpower, then more than likely I'm going to walk away from that experience feeling discouraged. I'm going to feel like I'm not stacking up to somebody. And that's just really common. That's one reason why I got a Wise phone. It's a phone that doesn't have Instagram on it. And currently, at the time of filming this, I'm not putting anything on Instagram for Girl Teach Me. I'm just strictly doing YouTube. I feel like YouTube is a better platform where people actually come and try to learn and try to improve their lives versus I'm not sure it's like that on Instagram. I know our lives can be improved in some way, but more than likely we're probably going to be consuming and we're probably going to be discouraged in one way or the other. So, and just confusion also, because with so many people telling us to do it this way or do it that way, or gentle parenting, not gentle parenting, all the things, it can feel like a lot of noise. So I think just for me, getting a Wise phone was one way to just like eliminate the need for willpower. But now when I sit down to do work on my computer, oh my goodness, like it just feels like there's a whole pull there too. So I'm going to have to reel that in and find some ways to put up some boundaries. But I think feeling discouraged is a very common thing in motherhood. And I was even talking to one of my best friends who lives in another city, and we were talking about homeschool, and she's like, I just don't even know, like maybe I'm doing a disservice to my kids kids. And that's a real thing I feel sometimes too with homeschool. Like, I don't always feel super confident. It feels like an experiment and we're not sure how it's all going to turn out. And so I know that you might feel like that too in motherhood. You're not sure if what you're doing is the best or the right way. And so I think some perspective on all of that is that if we are sowing seeds as best we can, and there's a poem I read in my last video called Sow in Spring, and it was by an unknown author, but it was just like mother, mother, sow in spring, because our children are, if they're young, they're in the springtime of their life and the time is fleeting. And so doing the best we can to put those seeds down in their hearts, but also when we sow bad seeds, bad examples, anger moments, all the things, just being really diligent to say, I was wrong for sowing that seed in your heart. Not saying that, but like, I was wrong for yelling at you. I was wrong for losing my temper. I was wrong for just lashing out or belittling you in some way. Will you please forgive me? And trying to pluck that seed up best we can. But what can we do in motherhood that's really meaningful without the help of the Lord? Really, 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 what can we do? Like, I know for me, I really struggle with striving. I mean, I'm a firstborn daughter. I was like a high level athlete. And so it's very easy for me to want to strive, to want to perform, to get my worth from what I do. But one thing that's really been, I feel like the Lord has been circling for me through different things I'm reading and hearing, is just that the worth that we have is put in us the moment we were created. That's our worth. And we know that as Christians because we value the unborn and we value the elderly, and we say they have worth not because of what they can bring to the table, but simply because they are imago Dei, they are made in the image of God. But then somehow when it comes to us as mothers, we feel like our worth is tied up in what we have and our kids' behavior and what school we could send our kids to, or what our kids wear, or what vacations we can go on, or what car we drive. Like, somehow our worth or our significance gets tied up in things that we have, places we can go, experiences we can afford, or just our children, and putting too much weight on our kids. And so one thing that's been really freeing for me lately is to remember, and that's like something I have to come back to almost multiple times a day. My worth is in the Lord. My worth is already sealed. And I was bought with Jesus' blood. There's nothing I can bring to the table that's going to make him love me more. And there's nothing I can do that's going to make him love me less. It is only by the blood and not because of what I can bring. And so I hope that's really freeing for you as a mom, that it isn't like the work of our salvation was started by God and it has to be finished by us. No, it's not like that. There's nothing we can bring. He remains faithful, not us. And so that's been a real encouragement to me, especially when I feel like I'm a failure and I'm just not doing enough, or I'm not mothering the way I want to. Like, there's a dissonance between who I am and who I want to be. Character is who we are when nobody's looking, and when we come face to face with, like, this is not the character I want to have as a mother, that doesn't give us a pass to stop trying. I think we should be giving all we've got because God gives us the ability to do that. But then also, I think it's so freeing to realize that our worth as a human is not tied up in all those things. And I know it's so much easier said than done, but I think we continually have to remember that, or we're going to forget, because the world is bombarding us with images. It's bombarding us with messages that when you have this thing, your life is going to be better. And I send out a Friday email called Ideas for Intentionality. It's been coming out every Friday for 2 years. And I do share my favorites. I do share the things that I'm enjoying and I like and I think could improve your life too. Ideas that can improve your life, quotes, things I'm watching, all the stuff. But at the end of the day, nothing I share in Ideas for Intentionality is essential to making our lives quote unquote better. And I love this quote right here. And this is a question that I found in the book, The Power of Christian Contentment. I can't recommend that book enough. Like, you could open up anywhere in that book and it would be an encouragement to you. But I love this question. Has Christ crucified and resurrected on my behalf done enough to make me content, or must he do a little more? And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. Is it not enough what he's done, or must he do a little bit more? And I don't think this quote is saying that we can't ask God for things, because I think, like a small child, he wants us to come and run up to him and ask him. But for my contentment of my soul, must he do a little more? And that's also something I've really been thinking about and mulling over in motherhood. It's just this idea of like a peaceful contentment in my soul that is not based on performance. It's not based on what I have. It's not based on hitting the next goal. Like, can I be truly settled in this contentment? Not content with not seeing progress in the world. I'm not saying that, but just like this settled contentment. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about, if you kind of are tracking with me. Perhaps it's just our fallen nature here in this world that, we're not meant for this life. And so we see every season of life has like its beauty and it's hard. Like, even just like right now when I'm recording this, it's spring and it's lovely outside and it's just bursting with life. And the downside is there's pollen everywhere. And I sound like this because of allergies and all the things. And so in the summer, it's awesome. Like, you can go swimming and it's warm and the sunshine. And the downside is there's a lot of bugs and it's hot and sweaty and your skin gets burnt. Like, I feel like you could roll through every season and be like, there is good and there is what feels like bad or feels like hard. I think my take home point is really this, that if you feel discouraged and there's a voice inside of you that is speaking some kind of discouragement to you, it's not the voice of the Lord. The Lord does not speak discouragement to us. That is not how he talks to us. I think he talks to us like a gentle, kind Father. And yet there are some things that perhaps we're doing that is causing more discouragement than is necessary. And in those cases, perhaps it's just us self-sabotaging ourselves and just taking a moment to really look ourselves in the mirror and saying, okay, I want to see progress in my life. I want to become a godly, kind, gentle mama. What am I doing in my life that is really a stumbling block to me? What am I doing? Is it my amount of time on screens? Is it the fact that I'm not taking care of myself and getting some exercise and just having like a stress relief? Am I not drinking enough water? Am I not eating enough? Am I not eating enough of the right stuff? Like, do I refuse to do a couple of small disciplines that are going to yield life in our home? Am I refusing to declutter? Am I a bad gatekeeper? Do I keep taking in more and more and more stuff, more than I can manage? Like, these are just small things that I want to address here on this channel because I think we want to see progress in our life. It's one of the most exciting parts of motherhood, is just knowing little by little by little we're going to get there. And that's actually the thing I have my son say to me when I look like I'm losing it. And I've taught him to say this. He'll come up and put his hand on mine and he'll say, hey, mama, just reminding you little by little, we're going to get there together. Because sometimes I'm just getting overwhelmed by how many sounds I hear and how much there is to do and all the things. And so if you're feeling discouraged today, know that you're not alone. There are so many mamas out there, perhaps your neighbor or somebody in your apartment complex. There's lots of moms who are with their kids and they're wondering if it even matters and it all feels hard. It does. It does matter. It is so very, very important. But I do think we have to be trying to get something from the day and not just trying to get through the day with the help of the Lord, and just aiming to become like Jesus more little by little by little. I know every time we open the word, it cuts on the way in and it cuts on the way out. It's not so much that we read the word, but the word reads us, right? And so just want to encourage you that if you're feeling discouraged, try to tune out as many of the voices that are discouraging you and maybe just getting back in the word again. Maybe it's been a while. Don't shame yourself. Just hop back in. At girlteachme.com, I have a lot of resources to help you learn how to read your Bible if you're new to the word and you don't even know how to get started. I would encourage you, grab an ESV version of the Bible with some commentary at the bottom, like a study Bible. Start in the book of John. I have a whole Bible study over there for free with videos that just walks you through the book of John just to get you started. I didn't know how to do any of this when I first became a Christian. I thought you had to read the Bible from Genesis on. I thought it was like a normal book where you couldn't just hop to the middle. But it's not like that at all. It's a book of books. And so go check that out as a resource for you if you just need a fresh way to get in the word, or if you need some help getting started. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good. He led me to where I'm at. we're giving in. But everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand. Just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.